I imagine there's a universe out there where GMTs are readily available at the counter, and then the baristas would glare at you for asking that very specific scale on the bezel and a very particular color on the dial. Happily, we live in a reality that's a little bit more grounded, where GMTs are as desirable as the last drop of Mountain Dew in the can. And you know what? Baltany is back, adding another reason for you to buy a GMT. And that is what we're going to find out with their generically named, as expected, Baltany Designer GMT. So find out what this GMT has to offer and what other value it's adding for you to even buy or consider another GMT in your collection. I don't need another watch, said no watch lover, ever. At least not convincingly. But hey, if you happen to be looking, totally by accident of course, here's a GMT watch that won't wreck your budget. It's got the looks and the functionality, and best of all, a price tag that won't make your wallet cry. Perfect for travel, or just pretending you're always jet setting. Baltany is very good at keeping these watches on the very reachable side. So much so that every time I see a discount, I always go, oh, that's a Baltany pricing right there. Another thing that many people tell me is, that looks big on you. Yep, I know, but I'm okay with it. This case, as many people pointed out, looks a lot like a Seiko Turtle case that will be thick and large for many small wrists. What Baltany gets right is the bezel. This bidirectional bezel has click positions unlike the Seiko 5 Sports GMT that has a friction fit construction. This contributes to the quality of the watch as it feels deliberate and intentional. Another plus for this GMT is that it has a screw-down crown compared to the Seiko 5 Sports non-threaded configuration. Yes, the likelihood of you diving 100 meters with this watch is much lower than you forgetting it in your denim pockets for laundry day, but it's still something that enthusiasts would rather have on their watch. This NH34 caliber is a collar-style GMT and is great for tracking a second time zone, while the robust Seiko-based movement ensures easy servicing and everyday wearability. While all of what we've shown you so far are great points for Baltany, you will still need to contend with the now bare bracelet that lacks the quick-release spring bars and the on-the-fly micro-adjust mechanisms. These features are now readily available on most enthusiast watches today and are all sorely missed from this Baltany offering. Not that it's a make or break deal for many of you, but we do understand that these are the things that we expect on our enthusiast watches. Like what I've said before, Baltany is already offering some great quality bracelets, but what makes it fun is that you can swap it out for anything else that you have on your drawer. Take this native strap from Arten that has a very nice blue stripe pattern. It matches the bezel and dial perfectly, making it a very nice companion for this Baltany. Be aware though that it does make this already chunky watch even bulkier. We could choose a slimmer looking option such as this sailcloth strap also from Artem. Another extra of this strap is that not only is it comfortable but also durable. The texture also gives it a little bit more interest, but it may clash a little bit with the dial as that dial is clearly very detailed already. So sometimes these kinds of visually heavy dials need a more subdued strap to complement it well. This loopless strap makes for a great softer look while cleaning up the excess strap material by tucking it onto your wrist. All of this goes to show that there is a sort of versatility to this world timer, even though that it's not always easy to pull off. Let's pass this off to a couple of comparisons to see how it could live within your collection. It's easy to forget that Baltany can easily look a lot better than most microbrands, especially considering that they are sold for much lower prices. So while you may have other favorite micros in your collection, it never hurts to toss in a Baltany in there, especially when they offer the homage look for a good quality. Beside the 6030 chrono, the amount of detail is somewhat similar, with both having such busy dials. However, since the 6030 is a limited run watch, it cannot afford to sell its collection at the price range that Baltany could. Baltany's factory produces a lot of watches, not just for their own brand, but also for other micros as well. This means that they could easily push out a version of this case that could be used by Baltany and its other clients. More units produced, the lower the cost. Since Baltany has full control of these parts directly, they can have these unusual combinations that you'd never think you'd see. This oyster bracelet, for example, is now attached to this Seiko style case. The bracelet may not have the tolerances and haptics of the Submariner. Come on, let's be honest there and realistic. But the bracelet is much better finish and execution than what Seiko is offering at the price double that of Baltany's. So when considering watches for your collection, it's not hard to squeeze in a Baltany in there because they are unbelievably affordable and has the quality that's a notch above your typical micro. You two have your own hot takes about this GMT. LN7181 says it's not sure the world needs another GMT. This design doesn't stand out. Well, I'm pretty sure it doesn't need another GMT, but we want one anyway. Chuck Choi says it looks nice, but it's too expensive. I don't know where he's getting his rum, but expensive and Baltany should not be mentioned in the same sentence. Wesco BDS says, looks nice, but I would have preferred a bright white lume to match the rehaut and lettering of the world cities. I actually agree with this one. And finally, one of our favorite viewers, Melvin Ramirez, says, looks like GMT and a diverse watch crossed over. I've had my fair share of really cheap watches, and I'm happy to report that Baltany is indeed affordable but never felt cheap. There's a certain crispness and clarity to their prints that makes me wonder why can't other Chinese companies do the same thing for their affordable offerings. The case and bracelet are the same kind of satin finish that we've come to expect from Baltany, and I'm pretty glad that they also use the minimal signature on the clasp rather than to use the brand emblem to sign it. Finally, in keeping with the cost down, there's really nothing on the case back, which opens up for your own custom engraving if you're into that kind of thing. There's also now a signature on the crown, unlike many of their previous offerings, and here I think it suits it very well. The dial gives me a certain Grand Seiko feeling with the half-colored rehaut and the oversized trapezoid markers embellishing the whole surface. There's no shortage of details here, with the indexes displaying this fine lateral grooving. This contributes to the light play of the watch and is very much macro lens friendly. Baltany also used a cream lume here to both complement the blue tone of the watch and create an instant vintage appeal to the dial. And I think one of my favorite parts of the watch is the red accents on the hands and text. It gives not just a garnish of color but also a bit of personality to this GMT. Looking outward, the text used on the cities are rather different from the numerals used inside the watch, but it's all pretty well executed considering how clean they are all printed on these surfaces. All of these details serves as a foredrop to the gorgeous blue sunray finish of this dial. As we turn the lights down, all of the lubed elements including the lower 24-hour rehaut comes alive with a decent application of lume. Sadly though, the kind of lume that they use doesn't really last too long. But that's expected as I'm yet to see any of these tinted looms stay luminous. As far as microbrands go, you're getting a lot of value with this GMT. It's a solid consideration if we're talking around the $300 mark, which is just below the current microbrand range. However, we are talking about Baltany here, and they are able to offer this at just $250. That pricing is so good that it should be added as a feature on the spec sheet. So, if you live in a universe where you're looking for another GMT and your wife is giving you that not another one look, well, you can always tell her, honey, I'm getting a Baltany. That is the Baltany Design GMT. It's a very nice and good looking GMT. I always seem to conclude everything is nice. No, it's not really that. It's not everything is really nice, but honestly, this GMT looks very, very good. It has that narrow GMT bezel with all of the cities indicated there. It has that faux patina that is not really as bad looking as many would expect here. And it also has that bicolored uh, inner bezel that's also giving us some Grand Seiko vibes to it. It's really good and well designed watch. It's a hybrid of sorts of uh, Seiko dive watch case here, but added a GMT complication. And really, the most attractive thing about this is that it's under $300, and it's that's a value that's pretty hard to beat with what you're getting here, with all of the desirable finishes, and of course that very tight tolerance on the bracelet. So I think this is a worthy consideration, especially for budget GMTs. And if you disagree, let me know. I want to hear your comments about it. I want to hear your reasons why you're not going to buy it. But I think that's the biggest attraction for many people here. And that is the Baltany Design GMT.